Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the difference between the length method and the length property. So the length with the opening and closing bracket is a method, whereas length on its own is a property. The length method is used by strings and the length property is used by arrays. So these are the main two differences. But what are they used for? In order to know, I thought the best way to explain this would be by giving an example. So I'm going to start by declaring a string variable, and I'm going to call this a string. And I'm just going to give it a basic string, like this is a string example. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to now print this message using the system print line method. And this is just concatenating the value of the string. So there's not much in here. I'm just going to run the program. So this is this is a string example. Now, if I wanted to know how many characters my string will have, this is when we will use the length method. And again, this is used by strings. So I'm going to have another printout message, and I will say the length of the string is, and I'm going to now say dot, and you'll notice here that Eclipse will actually give me options. So if I put the mouse over the length method, Eclipse actually tells me information about this method. It says returns the length of the string. And so this is what I want to do, what I want to have. Okay, so I'm going to run this, and it says that it's 24 characters. So this is 4 plus 2, and then that's 6 plus the 2 spaces, that's 8, 9, 10, and that's plus 6, so that's 16, 17, and I think that's 7. So 17 plus 7, yes, it's 24. Sorry, I spent a bit of time on that. Okay, now you'll notice that here, if I put the mouse over it, it says that this method returns the length of the string. So we can actually capture that in a variable of type integer. So I'm going to call my variable length, and I'm going to give it this value. And the reason why I've chosen an integer to save the result is because the returned value will be a number, a whole number. And so again, if I hover the mouse over the method, you can see that the return type is an integer. So this has to match with the type that we are saving the value into. Okay, so I'm instead of saying this, now I can simply use my variable like that. I've just saved the result in a variable. Okay, so that was the length method. The length method. Okay, now let's talk about the length property. The length property is used by arrays. So I'm going to go ahead and create an array. Now the array can be of any data type. It could be of an integer or a double. So I'm just going to go with integer arrays, and I say a integer array, and I'm going to declare an array of 3 integers. And then I'm going to assign, oh sorry, I forgot to indicate that I'm having an array of integers. Now I'm going to assign the first value of my array, the value 1, and I'll do 2 and 3 for the others. So index, the second index, I'm going to have the value 2, and at the third index, I'm going to have the value 3. And then I'm going to, now if I wanted to know the size of this array, that's when I use the length property. So I can do, I can display the result as in the size of the array is, and this is when I could actually access the length property of the array. So if I just do a dot, and then you can see that the length property is not a method because it doesn't have the opening and closing brackets. Okay, so this should display the size, which is 3. So let's run the program, and that's what we have. Now, this is mostly useful when you are looping through the array and you don't know the size of the array, because this could be a value that the user enters. So you don't always hard code this value. So this is going to be extremely useful when you're working with the arrays and you want to loop through all the items of the array. So this is when you use the length property like this. And then in the loop, you can choose to do what you want to do. So I may want to just print out or maybe just print out the content of the array. And let's see, so it's just going to print the values basically, 1, 2, 3. So this is the difference between the length method and the length property. So I hope this really helps you identify the difference between them. Just remember that the length method is used by string variables, and the length property is used by arrays, and the method is the one that has an opening and closing bracket, and the property doesn't have, it's just the word length. These were the examples that we used to demonstrate the uses, or how you would use each one and why. I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.